Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Tomshack, CEO of HealthSource, America's chiropractor, and you're watching the Chiropractor's Solution channel, which is a video series that we put together that gives you constructive brick by brick ways to build and grow your chiropractic practice, your career, and of course, both personally and professionally. But before we dive in and have a cool discussion here, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so that other chiropractors as well as yourself can continue receiving these videos. Give us a thumbs up to make it easier for other chiropractors to find us as well, because they'll want to see this content. So today we have a very special guest. This is Dr. Dr Faubion from Riverton, Wyoming, where is a bone-chilling degree today. So welcome, Dr. Jonathan.
Thank you, Dr. T. I appreciate you having me here.
All right, well, we're glad to have you. Now, before we go a little deeper into some serious questions, tell us a little bit about yourself, Doc. How long have you been a chiropractor now?
Well, right about 17 years, I've actually been a chiropractor. So went to Palmer West out in San Jose and definitely kind of got off to what I would describe as a pretty slow start in my career, but it's been actually kind of hit the accelerator pedal pretty hard here recently, and I think that's part of what we're going to talk about. So
you darn right it is. All right. So the first question, which reverts to how we started this, is why did you choose Riverton?
Well, I was born and raised in the state of Wyoming, and I actually met my beautiful wife Rain when we were both at Casper College, which is about 2 hours from here. And as it turned out, when I first was getting started into practice, her parents ended up moving to Riverton, and happy wife, happy life. She enjoys being near her parents, and being in Wyoming is really an important thing to me. So I've got my hunting, my fishing, my hiking, all the things I really love, and so it worked for everybody.
Perfect. So you've got your lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And now you have your practice.
I do.
All right. So rewind it 17 years, Jonathan. When you first got into practice, did you start off as an associate, or did you start your own practice?
So I associated for about 18 months in southern Wyoming, and on the whole, I did learn a lot from that experience. Unfortunately, a lot of it is what I did not want, not what I did want.
Right.
And so, timing, I was ready to be out of there. And that was kind of the timing when my in-laws moved this way. And so decided to kind of jump out and start my own gig at that point.
Okay. So stay right there. Why did you choose to be an associate doctor as opposed to starting your own?
The guy who I associated with was my childhood chiropractor. Oh. And so he gave me my very first chiropractic adjustment, and it, there was a lot of just connection and nostalgia there. Unfortunately, and without getting too deep in the woods, this guy, I think he had a lawsuit come against him that was frivolous, but nonetheless, it broke him. He completely changed the way he practiced and everything about what he was doing. And so the experience I had and the experience I expected were not the same.
That's a shame, but unfortunately that's more the rule rather than the exception. So we're going to stay there for a second. What in your opinion, knowing what you know today, what were the biggest mistakes that you made when you started out as an associate doctor?
Man, I didn't know much, honestly, at the time. I really had not researched what was available in the marketplace. I had no idea of the types of practices that you could have. To me, all a chiropractor was going to do is go out there and adjust people, and that was the whole gig. There was nothing else to be added to that. And honestly, I was extremely sheltered, even having gone through chiropractic college. I just didn't understand the capability that we have as chiropractors to engage in people's healthcare, not just as a mechanic out there adjusting spines, but also in a much bigger way.
So one of the biggest mistakes was having perhaps a constrained view of what it is that you could do and what you could provide to your community?
1000%. Yeah.
So rather than old school chiropractic when we know what that is, you elected, what you didn't know is that you could have a much more expansive contribution. Exactly. Is that right? Or am I totally wrong?
No, you nailed it.
Okay, cool. I like that. Now, and it's honest. So thanks for being transparent. Looking at your current practice today, how has HealthSource helped you build the practice of your dreams?
Well, you are the sum of the people you spend the most time with, and HealthSource has connected me deeply with other wonderful chiropractors. I now can see what's possible. And, maybe it's my lack of imagination, but I never would have dreamed what could actually be done. I mean, our practice this week, we should go well in excess of 250 patient visits for the week, and that's with one doctor and 2 team members. And right now we actually have an intern working with us who is in the stages where she's really not doing much treating yet. So in a way, it actually is slowing us up a smidge while we're training her, but it's our pleasure to do it because she's a wonderful young lady. So.
Did you just say you're actually training your intern?
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. This profession has a long history of not treating our young well, and so congratulations to you. And you're saying over 250 visits, and that's with state of the art care, right?
Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well done, Jonathan.
Yes,
what would you tell a doctor, young or old, makes a difference, that is considering converting their existing practice that they painstakingly have been working on to a HealthSource clinic? What would you tell them?
Well, let me go back a little bit. So I joined HealthSource, I guess it's been about 4 years ago, somewhere in there. And prior to that, I was still kind of operating in the pain-based, spinal mechanic model. And a little bit before that, I actually went through and got my sports certification. And that was probably my biggest eye-opener. It was during that process that I realized that I wasn't doing what I really wanted to be doing, and I wasn't doing what was going to help my patients in the way I wanted to help them. I got tired of seeing faithful, dedicated patients, and they come in and you one day see them at the grocery store and they'd be like, "Hey doc, I finally got my neck feeling better." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so awesome, man. How'd you do that?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, I ended up having a fusion and all my pain's gone." And I went, "Oh my God." Like on the outside, you're like, "Well, I'm glad you're feeling better." And on the inside, you're like, "How can I fail my patients any harder than that?" And so I realized that I just was not actually changing lives in the way I wanted to. And through the CCSP program, I figured out there was more to this deal. And it was so serendipitous because Baron Johnson, our regional director, sent a letter to me, which I would have never opened, to be honest, except my team thought it was maybe a payment. So they had opened it and put it on my desk. And when I started looking at it, it said chiropractic and exercise rehab and nutrition and these things that I wanted to bring to the table. And it was through kind of that happening really on top of me having finished my CCSP and wanting to move in that direction that I connected with HealthSource. And HealthSource absolutely has shown me, I mean, you guys have just absolutely lit the path for me to show me how to get the practice that I always wanted instead of the practice that I had. And so we've got exercise rehab in the clinic. We've got, appropriate nutritionals. We don't have, a wall of 8,000 supplements, but we have appropriate nutritionals that we can use to help our patients. We've got some additional tools, things like decompression and laser. Those are things I would have never even considered if it wasn't for, having such a wonderful group of doctors who have been down this path. And by being connected with all of these wonderful people who are here to help me grow, to help me succeed, I've been able to just accelerate the growth and build a practice that is honestly, in some ways, beyond my dreams. So
outstanding. Outstanding. All right. So that sort of message was to somebody who's thinking about converting their practice. What would you, or what advice would you give to a new graduate or someone just about ready to graduate who wants to start and build a practice?
So my advice to you would be, again, you are the sum of the people you spend the most time with. If you want to be successful, you better find a group of people who are going to be there to support you and help you. You cannot do everything in healthcare and chiropractic care by yourself. You're going to mess up. You're going to end up getting your legs taken out from under you one way or another. Or on the flip side, you're never going to reach your potential because you're running in 50 different directions, trying to keep up with marketing and compliance and training your team, and all these little pieces that steal little bits of your time that then don't allow you to focus on your most important one thing, which is being an excellent chiropractor and an excellent business owner so that you can be successful. And so that, I mean, to me, if you're going to be successful coming out, you've got to have that group of people. And the thing I love the most about HealthSource is out there in the chiropractic world, maybe your town's different than mine, but most of the other chiropractors in town really, we're friendly enough to say hi and whatever, but they're not going to be sitting down and giving me in-depth business advice or asking me if I've tried this new thing that they're doing that's helped their practice become more successful. But in HealthSource, everybody's there to share with everyone else. The tide rises and all the boats get to come up. We don't have to sit there and worry about putting this guy down so that we can go up.
Well, your boat's popped up and your clinic is way up there. So hats off, brother. Well
Thank you.
done. All right, so
thank you.
You got a boatload of patients coming in today. I don't want to take up any more of your busy time. So thank you, Dr. Jonathan. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. You got up early for this because you're busy. So thank you very, very much. And you gave some people some massively useful information. So brother, thank you very much. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Thank you, Dr. C. You as well.
Thanks.